Hey everybody, it's Jeff here once again with T-Werx and our Community-Werx program. This is a program that we started in the fall of 2017 to raise awareness for the nonprofits and community organizations that we work with. And there are a lot of amazing organizations that are out there that you've probably never even heard of, that are struggling, they're trying to find funding, or they're just trying to get some help from the community. And there's awesome opportunities for you to help these guys out. And I've got a really interesting story here today. So this is Lauren.
Laura.
And Laura, sorry. That's
okay.
I knew that I was going to do that, but it's all right. So Laura has a nonprofit that works with autistic children. So can you tell us a little bit about this?
I would love to. It's not just autistic children.
Okay.
I like to let everybody know that it's all special needs. The name RISE for families, RISE is actually an acronym, Resources and Information for Special Needs Empowerment.
Nice.
Which is how it started, turned into RISE for Families, Resources Information for Families. And it's really just about any families that have kids with special needs that need help finding services, finding support, finding resources, even just to talk. Like I said, just support. I've had families that call me and we just talk for an hour and they feel better.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think makes us unique is I'm a parent. I'm not an educator. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor.
Social worker.
I'm not a social worker. I'm a parent, and I want to help. And I think that parent-to-parent interaction can be very comforting, as opposed to that educator to parent or doctor to parent getting that advice versus just, I know what you're going through and I get it. And
believe me, I'm living this
I got
too.
your back. Yeah, I got your back, and I'm going to help you in whatever way I can.
Awesome. So explain to me how you got this started.
So I have a son. His name is Will. He's autistic. He's my first son, and we didn't really know what concerns to have because he was our first son. But once we did start to notice the concerns, it was a little blindsiding. He wasn't talking.
Okay.
And so we started speech therapy. And speech therapy didn't go well. They tried to take him into this little room to work with him one-on-one, and I just completely freaked him out, and he had these extreme meltdowns. And so we said, well, there might be more going on than just speech delay, which led us to occupational therapy. And even more concerns there with just being able to do typical everyday physical movements that his age group usually would do. And so it led to just really not understanding what was going on and spending time researching, making phone calls, asking questions, and really just spending 2 years trying to figure out what was going on and what to do about it.
Yeah.
And
What did you learn during that journey?
Oh man, that there's so many resources out there that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And I had no clue until I started that journey and had to really delve into it. It was a almost full-time job. Just getting on my computer every day, Googling on what to do. What do I do?
Who do I talk to?
Who do I call? What's next? Calling my insurance to figure out what services were covered, what services we needed, what therapies we needed, how to get a diagnosis.
Okay.
That's a really big struggle, is when you don't know what's going on, what do you do to get a diagnosis? Because if you don't have a diagnosis, insurance isn't going to cover everything.
And who do you go to get that diagnosis?
Right?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
And so it took so long just trying to figure out what do I do. And then once we did get to that point, we got to that point where we figured everything out. We got all of our resources, all of our services started. And then Will just started to thrive and become this amazing kid that was finally reaching his full potential.
Okay.
Just so happy and just doing amazing. And so that's when I just thought, oh man, this shouldn't have taken 2 years for us to get to this point.
Yeah.
If I had somebody that could say, here's what your concerns are, here's what you should do next, and here's who you should call.
Yes.
Then I could have saved months at a time on trying to make those phone calls and finding where we needed to go and what we needed to do.
Exactly. So then you founded RISE.
I did.
What was your passion behind that?
Oh man, I just wanted families to feel how we felt once we finally saw Will being able to reach his full potential. Reaching those services, or getting those services, and knowing that it wasn't just dead ends.
Yeah.
There was potential and there was opportunity, and it was just getting to that point and finding it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just want I want all those other families that have kids with special needs to feel that way. And it's not, and like I said, all families with special needs. So Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, cystic fibrosis, epilepsy, ADD, all of those families with have kids with special needs. They need services, and they need therapies, and some need wheelchairs and crutches and medical equipment. And it's not easy to find all that. And so just having somebody to say, I got it.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and do that for you.
Let me help you find that, yeah.
I'll do the research, I'll make the phone calls, I'll let you know where we end up.
Okay. So what is it like to start a nonprofit?
Terrifying. What am I doing?
You're the entrepreneur of your side of the house. So
yeah, so I have 2 kids. I have one on the way. I have a job that I'm currently in the process of leaving so that I can focus on RISE full time.
Okay.
So it's not very logical. It's definitely all about the passion and just, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So now let's talk a little bit about some of the struggles. What are some of the struggles of being a new nonprofit? You're not as well known out in the community. What are some of the struggles that you have?
Yeah, community outreach is huge. Just getting out there, I appreciate this opportunity. This is something that's huge for me because it doesn't just fall into your lap. People don't just randomly call you and say, hey, let's do a YouTube interview. It took me having to get out there and go to some meetings and meeting the right people to do it. So community outreach has been tough. And then the need is not a struggle. The need for families that need somebody like me to say, hey, I can help you, I'll find these services for you. The need is there, so I guess the bigger struggle is growing RISE and funding RISE so that we can meet all of these families' needs.
Yeah, so what's your growth strategy? What are the things that you need?
That's a good question. I need to find more people to join my mission.
Okay.
More me's, more people that can take phone calls from families and listen to their story, and we can come up with an action plan and do that research and find those services so that it's, if we have 5 families, it's not me trying to help 5 families. We can delve out the resources between me and a few other people. So I need people and I need funding so that we can meet everybody's needs.
Okay. So what if I was to find somebody for you that was another you? What are some of the traits that they would have?
I would say an emotional, not an emotional attachment, is that the right word? Somewhat emotional passion for what we're doing.
Emotional intelligence, I
yes,
think is really the...
for the mission, for wanting to help families that have kids with special needs and some kind of emotional attachment to that, not just this is my job and this is what I do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what we do is support these families too, and it takes a good listener, somebody that can listen to someone's story and get an idea of what they need and what they want, because one size does not fit all with these families in any way whatsoever, and so it takes really listening to them to understand where they are in their journey and finding the right action plan for them, and just motivation to do it.
And it's funny because I'm in the financial industry as well as what I do here, and I think one of the biggest challenges that I've seen, and this may be a solution, maybe we work together in the future, is from the financial planning side of it, planning for, the child that has special needs is always going to have special needs, and they may or may not be able to support themselves at some point, but you need to do planning for that, and that's expensive in a lot of cases, and finding the resources to have the ability to do that, because oftentimes the people that I'm talking to,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have expended so many resources to helping their kids now that it's like, okay, I don't have that money
And
to.
then they turn 18 and
Yeah, and it's a whole nother animal. And if
Yep.
you don't plan right
Mhm.
and something happens to you or something happens to both you and your spouse,
Yep.
that can, I mean, it can cause massive,
Mhm.
problems with their, if they're on any kind of, whatever, support from the government and all that, it can cause major problems if they get assets.
Absolutely.
So.
And I think that's actually a huge thing that a lot of families with special needs don't think about because they're
They
thinking
don't-
about it right
Yeah,
now.
they're in the game fighting alligators.
Especially when they're little bitty, when they're 3, 4,
Mhm.
5 years old, 18 years is,
Mhm.
they're dealing with the struggles that they're dealing with now. And I think that's a great resource that we can offer them is just that outside vision that they can't, they don't have time to see right now.
Let's focus on this too, because
Yeah.
these are important things to worry
Exactly.
about. Yeah. So from a funding standpoint, this is always the hard one.
Yes.
What do you need?
Well, so we are working on building a database
Okay.
in which it's a lot of research. I am pulling and constantly updating all the therapists in the area.
Okay.
Their location, contact information, what insurance they take,
Okay.
any special notes on age groups that they take. Doing that for therapies for schools that cater to children with special needs that are private, nonprofit, summer camps. Just basically a database of resources
All
and
these
information.
And there's really not a resource you can go to buy
Right.
that has all this, right?
And
I
just
mean,
putting everything in there and constantly keeping it updated. So when a family does call us, they say, my child is 3 years old, we live in Pflugerville, this is our diagnosis, and this is our insurance, and this is what we're looking for.
mhm.
I want to be able to go into that database and within 20 minutes have a list of all the resources that they need with phone
Nice.
numbers and say this fits your specific needs.
So if we look out in the audience
Mhm.
and we say, if assuming that there's not money, but there's people and skills that are out there,
Mhm.
what are some of the skills that can help you do some of that piece of it
Mhm.
and let you focus on what you do best, which is talking to the families?
Exactly. Well, we need fundraising. So honestly,
Okay.
it would be great to have somebody that has experience with fundraising
Okay.
and community outreach,
Mhm.
creating events that not only fundraise but create awareness that there are so many families out there with special needs that need help. So fundraising and community outreach leader
Yeah.
for the organization would be great. As well as somebody that enjoys research because it's constant updating research. We might have a list of therapy clinics, but then next week one of those clinics might not exist anymore.
Mhm. Or they change their insurance.
Or
yeah.
they change what insurance they take,
Yeah.
or there might be a new clinic that opens up next week, so we can't make a list and just let it be stagnant.
Mhm.
We need somebody constantly researching and updating a database.
Got
So
it.
research, data entry
Mhm.
type of skills.
Excellent.
We also could use somebody that's really good at just like volunteer organization. So if we do receive volunteers, have somebody that can kind of tell them where we need help.
Mhm.
So a lot of leadership roles. Somebody that can take on the leadership role of research and data entry. Somebody that can take on the leadership role of fundraising and community outreach, and then somebody that can take on the leadership role of organizing people
Mhm.
and putting them where they need to go to best meet our needs.
Mhm. Fantastic. So, where's the future? What does this look like? You're the vision.
Well, I would love to continue to help families the way that I've started right now, but I also really kind of have a passion to do a lot of community outreach and awareness.
Okay.
Right now, actually, we're planning a training. A vacation Bible school leader approached me and talked about, how can we be more inclusive to families that have kids with special needs
Mhm.
to come to vacation Bible school. So we talked about that, and then we also talked about the volunteers that work with the kids.
Mhm.
And some of them are high school students that work with the little ones, and they just aren't aware
They
of
may or may not understand.
special
yeah.
needs. And so I said, why don't we do a training
Good.
for them, understanding autism, understanding special needs, tools and tricks for the caretakers when things come up. And so I partnered with Center for Autism and Related Disorders.
Okay.
And they're going to put on this training for the Vacation Bible School volunteers. And I'll just kind of be facilitating that. And I really like the idea of things like that and just kind of like creating awareness for the community of understanding things like autism and other special needs and, and just getting the tips and the tricks so that it's not so scary for people when they see a kid in public having an extreme meltdown.
Yeah.
Just saying, okay.
That's okay.
That's all right.
That's just him.
Yeah, it's not a bad kid.
No.
Sometimes it might be.
There's just some rotten kids, but yeah.
But if I could do more community outreach and awareness type of events, I think I would really like that.
Awesome.
I would really like for Rise for Families to kind of do both of those things.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not, it kind of just leads into that. You know, we provide the services, but we also provide the education and awareness and outreach. So that's fantastic.
And the events. Everybody loves events. You know, they're fun.
On top of that. So what else about you do you want people to know?
Oh, gosh. I just have a passion for this. It has become something that I wake up and I think about and I get excited every day to do. And every time I get to have a conversation and talk about Rise for Families, I get really excited. And I just want to be able to help and support as many families that I can. And the longer I can do this and the more people I can help, the happier I'm going to be.
Awesome. So how does somebody get a hold of you? How do they get information about RISE?
So we have a website, and you can contact us on our website, our Facebook page, phone number, email address.
Okay, so what's the website?
Website is riseforfamilies.org.
Okay.
And my email address is Laura at riseforfamilies.org.
Got it.
And our phone number is 512-736-8887, which is my cell phone number.
Okay.
And so reach me directly. And
if somebody wants to help with, hey, I want to help raise money with you, I can provide and help with some of the things you were asking about. If somebody needs help, they can all call that same number, correct?
Yep.
Okay, well, fantastic, folks. You need to help and support this organization. She's doing amazing stuff. It takes a lot of guts to start a nonprofit. I mean, I've been part of a couple startups in the nonprofit world, and I will tell you it's a lot of work, and it's a thankless job sometimes that you feel like you're alone and you're doing it all by yourself, and in some instances you are, but there's a huge community out there, and this is something that doesn't require hundreds and millions of dollars of funding like a lot. It's just getting some funding and some help to help Laura get the services out there broader than where she can. So if you can help, if you can, if you've got the skills on doing the research and you can volunteer some time, if you've got a better idea on the database part of it, if you've got some financial support you can provide, or just straight up, if somebody needs help, have them reach out to Laura, and she'll make sure that you are well taken care of. Or if you have questions, certainly call us here at T-Werx and we can get you in contact as well. Yep. So thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming out today.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So right down below me is our subscription button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because all these wonderful people like this you will not know about unless you're subscribed to our channel. So we will see you here next week.